Welcome in to the Football, Family, and Food Podcast as the hiatus has come to an end, and we are celebrating it by getting ready to talk about the upcoming football season for Ottawa University. And we can't do that, though, without talking with head coach Nick Davis. Coach, thank you for taking time out. It is great to talk to you again. It's been a little bit, but it's good to reconnect.
Yeah, no, we're great to talk football with you. We're excited for the season.
And this is going to be a fun season as coming off of playoff appearance, a division championship, and your staff has stayed the same. Well, there's one change. We'll
Yep.
talk about that, but it isn't because somebody's left. It is an addition to the squad. So first of all, let's talk about the addition to the coaching staff.
Yeah, so we're excited. Cole Greenwood and Reese Schaff, I'll start with them. They did a phenomenal job for us the last 3 years as graduate assistants. Cole's moving on. He's actually taken a head high school job in Russell, Kansas, and Reese Schaff will be hopefully coaching college football, still trying to find a place to get that accomplished here in the next few weeks before the season starts. But that's kind of his goal, and we were able to add, probably since the last time I talked to you, Jarrell Taylor was a former Brave Forest defensive back, all conference player, and we were able to add two new guys and Chris Edwards and Alec Wright, and Coach Jones, our running backs coach, is moving over in the defense. So, but we were able to add a special teams coordinator, and it was a position that I had previously had. And A few years ago, when Coach Mendez left to go join his wife down in Texas, we were pretty close to the season, and the athletic department had to come up with a significant cut, and it was pretty easy to not fill a position that was there. And our new athletic director, Janet Eden Smith, has been absolutely phenomenal. I think the world of her. And within a few weeks of being on campus, she was able to restructure some stuff around to kind of get us back where we were. So we were able to go out and hire Kyle Kramer. He comes to us from he was at Arkansas Pine Bluff as the special teams coordinator. Before that, he was at Louisiana Monroe as the special teams quality control coach. And then before that, he actually coached at Mid America Nazarene. His wife owns a company in the Kansas City area, and so we're pretty excited to get him back to Kansas. So we're fully stocked, 8 coaches in our office every day, which, to my knowledge, at least in the last 20 years, that'll be by far the most the Ottawa Braves have ever had.
So, with that said, you walk me through that process. Did he reach out to the program? Did you guys open up a search? And how was it? How easy was it to convince administration, hey, we need this spot on this team, and here are the reasons why?
Really, I mean, just I had a conversation with Janet and said, "Hey, this is what we used to have. I never asked for anything, and I think it was important for her to go get it done." And we did a national search, and we had a really quality candidate pool. And I think he was just looking at finding a job where he could be closer to his family, and be closer to his wife, and it all aligned. His father-in-law actually owns Fashion, which is a company in Ottawa. He's done some major projects in Ottawa and has been a part of the community of Ottawa. So we were pretty fortunate that he wanted to come closer to home. We had a spot for him, and we had a phenomenal pool. With a lot of connections from my being able to get the 35 under 35 with the American Football Coaches Association. There were several guys, at least initially interested, and one guy that got deep into the process that I had connections there. And then, a really good pool of young coaches from across the country as well.
What was it that really sparked the interest for you in picking him as a coach?
Yeah, he's obviously, I thought, a really good coordinator. And, you're generally not going to go find a Division I coordinator to come coach at an NAI. So the fact that we were able to get a super quality coach, in my mind, at this level was a huge thing, and just his knowledge. And for the last few years, we've been having every man on deck to run a special teams unit. Even though we've named some coordinators, Coach Coombs was really the last guy that truly did everything back when we had 4 full-time assistants. So we're 4 years ago. For the last 3 years, we've been very limited and not having a special teams coordinator. That was definitely a huge plus.
So with adding someone with that kind of experience, what kind of changes do you expect to see with special teams for the upcoming season?
He obviously has his little flair on things. So, I just think we're getting a guy who, for the last 4 years, has done it at the Division I level and is used to every single detail. It's not that it's a bad thing, but with Coach Mudd, his number one priority was our defense, and Coach Anderson, his number one priority was our offense. Well, Coach Kramer really has no ambition of being a offense or defensive coordinator. He really loves special teams. So now I have 3 coaches on my staff that love their side of the football.
And that's important because this is my opinion. You tell me if you would agree. You've got to have that for the players to feed off of.
Yeah, no, I truly believe that they have to see the buy-in from the coach.
Now, with the staff complete, and you've been able to uh, start things, as we're not that far away from camp opening up. Uh, has this changed anything leading into camp or for camp, or does this just kind of solidify everything?
I think it just solidifies everything that we're trying to get accomplished. The mission is still the same. We want to win playoff games here at Ottawa University, and we are continuing to strive. And with this hire and being able to be kind of a staff of 8, which we've never been able to have, I think that gets us closer to you know um, completing our goals of being a team that can win multiple playoff games in the next few years.
And of course, it's got to be refreshing for you. You're not having to replace anybody as in an offensive or defensive coordinator. You you've got everything is still the same, and you were just able to add parts. So tell me, for you personally, how has that made things easier on you?
Yeah, that's definitely easier. This time last season, I'm teaching our defensive coordinator kind of how we do things on defense while creating a new offense with our offensive coordinator, because we had never done what we did last season on offense before. So this has been pretty nice. Obviously we got some changes there with Coach Kramer, but I don't view it as a lot of drastic changes. We're very similar in our philosophy. We just got another guy that's going to be calling the special team. So I think that's really great. We did some stuff and invested in our playbook software last year where we were able to get our playbook up and ready. So really in July of last year, we were finishing the touches. Where July of this year, we're meeting with our players and quizzing them over what our playbook looks like and not worried about, oh, we got to get our final details put in place here. So June and July is kind of, we've taken back from teaching the coaches to June and July, we have taught the players.
And how has that gone so far in the summer? Obviously through social media, we you've seen different things with players working out in the weight room and that on their own time. Do you feel like that the buy-in is even more this year for this program?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't quote me for the whole Coach Kessinger career, but I mean, we're consistently getting now 30 to 35 guys at a single workout. Now, there may have been years where, hey, there was 50 guys in town and 20 went in one workout and 20 went to another one and 10 guys went to a different one. But we consistently have 30 to 40 guys there. Last Saturday, we got together and we had 50 young men on campus. This Saturday, we'll have another 50 young men on campus. New guys are coming really each week, and there's just a lot of excitement going on within the football program.
Do you feel like the players are just as excited? I mean, they've obviously got a lot to live up to coming off of last year.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of excitement. We have a lot of freshmen. Within that 30 to 40 guys, we have 10 freshmen that are on our campus, um, excited about winning football games for us, which is I love it. Like I think that is one of the coolest thing is we got a bunch of kids that have never lined up for a snap and they've been every summer workout the whole entire summer.
That's going to go really well, especially for the freshmen, because well, not only is it showing that they've got a real interest in getting better and learning this, but that should also help out maybe on the field if they're ever called upon.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of those kids found themselves and maybe our travel roster, because of what they committed to this summer.
So we've got players that are really starting to build in and work on things over the summer. The rest of the group are going to be joining. Always the biggest question though is who's going to be here when camp opens. Do you feel confident that everybody that you are planning on having here will be here?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've done enough stuff this summer that we've figured out who's serious about coming back to Ottawa and who isn't. We've done weekly meetings on Zoom or Microsoft Teams with our offense and defense. Um, there's certain things from an athletic training standpoint that individuals need to get done in a timely manner. So we know the guys that have done that. We know the guys who haven't done those things. So I think that is, you know, some of the things that we're requiring them to do. We're figuring out pretty quickly, like who really is, bought in and doing some of this stuff. So we feel pretty good, consistently, with guys' work schedules. We're getting 45 guys attend on offense our weekly meeting, and we have 55 guys, and the other 10 guys have told us, hey, work schedule, they're doing all those things. So we feel pretty good about all the guys we expect to come back to be back.
And as we mentioned, there's really just no surprising anybody this year. Teams are going to be they're going to be looking to avenge some of their losses. I'm thinking of one team already that's in Salina. That November 9th game against Kansas Wesleyan in Salina. That's going to be a big one for this team, but they're all going to be big. The season gets underway on August 31st in Southwestern, and when you look at that schedule, there's just not a lot of gimmies.
No, I mean, I've been saying it. This conference is tough, top to bottom. You have to come and play your best every week, or you're going to go get beat. Um, and I think, and a lot of people have talked about it, is we're very close. I think 8 of the 12 teams in our conference in the last 10 years have won conference championships, something like crazy like that. So we just got to continue to get better because there's years that somebody wins a conference championship and the next year they go 2-8. So we can't just rely on what we did last season. We have to be able to back it up and put another good year and a good product out on the field.
And as I'm looking at this schedule, obviously it's a reverse. Well, not obviously for people who may not know, it's just basically a reverse of last year, except the games that were on the road will be at home, and the games that were at home will be on the road this year. Uh, One thing that sticks out for me uh, is the start times are there's a lot of different start times this year.
Yeah.
and especially an 11 o'clock kick in November. That's different.
Yeah, no, everyone joked about like an 11 o'clock kick, and I called people out on it, and Coach Alexander was the only guy that took me up on my offer. So we're gonna be doing a 11 o'clock kick in November, and you know, try to make it special for the guys that they're not always playing at 1 o'clock. I generally would rather play an afternoon game. We do have the night game though to open up the season, but a lot of the teams in the conference like 6 p.m. games. I would rather play kind of those 1 noon kickoff. Ideally, if we could play at noon every week, I think that would be the best. Travel in our league isn't a lot, and being a family guy, I'd love to finish the game, get home, and be able to be with my family for the rest of Saturday evening versus going home on a bus in the middle of the night. We had too many close calls with bus ordeals last year that maybe has tainted my night game experience.
Wouldn't know what you're talking about. That's yeah, it's and something wrong when the first game of the year you have your the close call that you guys had.
Yeah,
That's a little rough.
yeah. I think the two of our three trips where we were on a bus at night, we had issues last year. Whether it was there's a tornado literally 5 miles away from our bus, or the fact that our bus steering broke down. So if I could get away with having great weather for our bus driver, I'm all about it.
So we've got just a little not a little bit under 10 minutes here to before to wrap things up, and so wanted to get your thoughts real quick. Some late coaching changes in the KCAC. Both Bethel and Sterling have new coaches, and whether they're not, whether there's going to be a full search or they'll assume the position full time. But Bethel and Sterling looking for coaches, and that's adding a new wrinkle for those two programs.
Yeah, obviously we'll see Bethel a little sooner than Sterling. But one guy takes over who was at Bethel, who was a defensive coordinator. So I would assume they're going to be very similar. They had an offense coordinator previously, and then at Sterling, their offensive coordinator takes over, and their defensive coordinator was there. So I don't think there's going to be a huge shakeup. Obviously, there's a different person leading those football programs, which knowing that's a huge deal. And I know what it took. And I got my first head job in November, and I had, whatever, 8 months to get ready to go 2-8. You know, um, Obviously that's a joke, but I had 8 months to prepare, and we didn't have as great of a season. So these guys have, a little over a month, or in some cases, 2 months to be able to get ready to, you know, get those guys motivated. And all of them came to play for a different head coach, and that guy is no longer there. So I think that is definitely important, is how strong the leadership is there in those programs to be able to overcome that adversity. That's a difficult situation.
I chuckled, but I had myself on mute so it wouldn't come across. So yes, I did understand the humor there. So with that said, we can't have this podcast without a little dabbling on the food side. So since we've last talked, what's been the best? What's the best thing you've had to
Oh
eat?
man. So my wife and I, and this isn't too crazy, but my wife and I have been on a Hawaiian kick. And up here in the Olathe area, there is Mo Betta's and Hawaiian Bros. So we've been on a nice little kick where we're eating some Hawaiian food. Generally on Fridays when I'm coming home, my wife says that she's hungry, and I go pick it up and bring it back. So two shout outs to those places. Nothing too crazy. They're chains. But for someone that's from the Midwest that hasn't had a lot of Hawaiian food over their life, I think that's definitely something good to try if you haven't.
That is that's a good pro tip right there for everybody that's listening and especially in the area. So check those out. They get the Coach Nick Davis thumbs up seal of approval.
Yeah, you got to get the katsu chicken. The shrimp's really good. And I think two different styles. Mo Betta's is more of like a grilled meat, and I would say Hawaiian Bros is more, and I don't want people to get offended, I guess, but Hawaiian Bros is more of your Chinese buffet type style chicken and porks, where a lot of sauces. Where Mo Betta's is really they pride themselves on grilling their meat, and they do have sauces to dip in it, but it's not drenched in the sauce when you get it.
Ah, so there is a difference. There is a big difference there.
Yes.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us again as we're gearing up and getting excited. I'm looking forward to getting behind the mic for another year of Ottawa University Braves football.
Yeah, we're excited to get out on the field and show everybody what we've been doing over the last few months, and we appreciate everyone who cheers us on, Bob, and Otter on.
That is head coach Nick Davis. I'm Bob Johnson. Thanks for joining us for the Football, Family, and Food podcast. We'll talk to you again soon.